In the halls of Oakwood High School, there was one person who touched the lives of all who knew her, Amanda Christine Riley. With her warm smile and kind heart, she was adored by students and teachers alike. But in the fall of 2012, tragedy struck. Amanda, a beloved school principal and a new mother, received a devastating diagnosis: Hodgkin's lymphoma. The news shook the entire community to its core. Rather than retreating into the shadows of despair, Amanda decided to share her battle with the world. She created a blog titled "Lymphoma Can Suck It," a defiant declaration of her refusal to give in to this ruthless disease. Through her raw and emotional posts, she built a close-knit community of supporters across social media who rallied around her in unwavering solidarity. However, as you'll soon find out, this particular story is far from heartwarming. On this episode of Vice Confidential, we'll lead you through the twists and turns that encompassed an unspeakable crime you won't believe with your own ears. Now, let's begin. The fight against cancer was an uphill battle, and Amanda knew the costs of treatment were overwhelming. Undeterred, she set up a support page named Amanda's Battle with Cancer. Here, family, friends, and her growing number of followers could donate money to assist with her medical expenses. The outpouring of generosity from the community touched her heart and gave her strength to keep pushing forward. For 7 long years, Amanda shared her journey with brutal honesty. Even in her darkest moments, she remained a beacon of hope and strength for others facing similar trials. As a devout Christian, she found solace in her faith and encouraged others to find comfort in theirs. Her blog and support page became a testament to her resilience and unwavering spirit. Amanda fearlessly shared photos from her hospital stays, shedding light on the harsh reality of cancer treatment. She bravely wrote about the potent chemotherapy drugs coursing through her veins, and she candidly documented the debilitating side effects she endured. But as the years went by, the battle took its toll, both physically and emotionally. The devoted followers watched with bated breath as each update on her condition unfolded. The support poured in, but so did the fear and uncertainty. Now, the question lingered. Would Amanda Christine Riley conquer the formidable foe that was Hodgkin's lymphoma? Or would this cruel hand she was dealt ultimately overpower her? Amanda faced the toughest fight of her life, yet her resilient spirit left a profound mark on the hearts of everyone who knew her. As the online community held its breath, hoping for Amanda's triumphant recovery, a shocking twist emerged that would shake everyone to their core. Amanda's once inspirational story took a dark turn, leaving her followers stunned and betrayed. With her bald head bravely on display, Amanda had garnered even more support and admiration from her devoted followers. But then, out of nowhere, she shared what seemed like a miraculous update. Not only had she beaten cancer, but she had also conceived her second child, whom she lovingly referred to as her quote-unquote miracle baby. The news spread like wildfire, and the outpouring of joy and hope was overwhelming. Yet, as the clouds of uncertainty began to gather once again, Amanda dropped another bombshell. In a heart-wrenching post, she disclosed that the cancer had returned, and this time, it was more vicious than ever. Stage 4 metastatic cancer, she claimed, was ravaging her body, giving her a mere 2 to 3 months to live without treatment. Her followers were devastated, rallying around her with messages of love and support, hoping for another miracle. But what came next shattered their trust and the foundations of the story they had come to believe in so fervently. Amanda's world came crashing down when the truth emerged. It was all a lie. The now 37-year-old woman, whom they held in their hearts with compassion, never had cancer at all. Before we continue, please take a moment to support our channel by liking this video, subscribing, and ringing the bell to receive notifications of all of our newest videos covering the most unbelievable true crime cases. The explosive news left the community in disbelief and outrage. How could someone fabricate such an elaborate web of deceit, exploiting the sympathy and goodwill of those who genuinely cared for her? As the story unraveled, questions arose about Amanda's motives and what drove her to deceive so many. The once inspiring tale of courage and triumph now stood tainted, leaving everyone wondering why someone would pretend to endure such a harrowing battle. The high school students who followed Amanda's journey were left with valuable lessons about the power and peril of the internet, and how even the most inspiring stories could be distorted and manipulated. The community had to come to terms with the truth and grapple with the emotional aftermath of discovering that the person they had rallied behind was not who they believed her to be. An investigation into what led Amanda Christine Riley to construct such an elaborate facade and how the online world became both a source of hope and a platform for deceit had begun. The journey to uncover the truth that followed tested the limits of trust, compassion, and the complexities of the human heart. According to prosecutors, Amanda shamelessly manipulated her online presence, cunningly crafting an illusion of a devastating medical condition. Through her blog and social media accounts, she artfully weaved a tale of a cancer battle that never existed, tugging at the heartstrings of her followers, who believed they were supporting her through a life-or-death struggle. Her calculated deception knew no bounds, as she skillfully solicited money from a staggering 349 individuals, all of whom genuinely believed they were aiding her in her fight against cancer. The web of lies was so convincing that even some of her own family members awaited her impending demise, their hearts filled with grief and despair. But behind the facade of a courageous fighter lay a cold and calculating mind. The U.S. Attorney's Office showed the extent of Amanda's deceit, accusing her of using her online presence as a tool to dupe others into donating money supposedly meant for her medical expenses. Quote, "In truth," the statement declared, "Riley had no medical expenses," unquote. The donations that poured in from her sympathetic followers were not utilized to combat a deadly illness, but rather, they were siphoned into Amanda's personal bank accounts, funding her everyday living expenses as she continued to work her elaborate charade. As the investigation deepened, high school students across the nation were left bewildered and perplexed. How could someone they had admired for her strength and resilience turn out to be a master manipulator, exploiting the very people who cared for her? The unbelievable tale of Amanda Christine Riley shed light on the sinister side of the internet, revealing how seemingly genuine people could mask dark secrets. The true extent of Amanda's deception came to light as the web of lies she wove grew even more intricate and disturbing. Authorities alleged that the once beloved mother of two had gone to extreme lengths to bolster her fictitious cancer story. In a sinister twist, it was revealed that Amanda had shaved her own head to lend credibility to her tale of battling cancer. But her deceit doesn't end there. To further solidify her falsehoods, she had allegedly fabricated medical records, creating a paper trail of a medical condition that never existed. When suspicions began to arise, and an investigative producer received an anonymous tip-off, Amanda's true nature emerged. Unwilling to let her charade be exposed, she took drastic measures and sued the producer in an attempt to silence any inquiry into her fabricated illness. As people began to ask questions about the authenticity of her hospital photos, a dark pattern emerged. According to Charlie Webster, the host of the show Scamanda, Amanda would feign illness or fainting, then rush to the emergency room, claiming she was suffering from dehydration or cancer-related complications. This ruse would result in immediate treatment, including being hooked up to IV drips. In those vulnerable moments, she would seize the opportunity to capture a stream of hospital photos documenting her supposed struggle with cancer across the various emergency rooms. But Amanda's lies didn't stop at hospital visits. She went as far as obtaining medical equipment to add a convincing touch to her fraudulent narrative, deceiving not only her online followers, but also the medical professionals who were trying to help. The high school students who once admired Amanda for her apparent bravery and resilience now found themselves confronting the unsettling reality of a master manipulator. The tale of Scamanda became a cautionary example of how the allure of sympathy and admiration could lead someone down a diabolical path of lies and deception. As more details came to light, it became clear that Amanda Riley's sick games had caught the attention of the authorities. In 2019, both the Internal Revenue Service and the San Jose Police launched a thorough investigation into her elaborate scheme, unearthing the shocking truth. The evidence against Riley was overwhelming, and she soon found herself facing the consequences of her actions. Charged with one count of wire fraud, she had no choice but to face the gravity of her narcissism. In the following year, she stood before the court and pleaded guilty, finally admitting to the endless hoax she had perpetrated on her followers. In a stunning turn of events, the sentencing hearing arrived, casting a solemn shadow over Amanda's fate. The courtroom was filled with tension and emotion as her family members watched, torn between the person they once knew and the reality of who she really was. Amanda's brother, Tom Maneri, stood up to speak on her behalf, seeking to give insight to her motivations. He bravely shared his belief that his sister's actions were possibly driven by a desperate plea for attention and help. Tom expressed his confidence that Amanda had trapped herself in a hole she dug so deep that she couldn't find a way to escape from it. He spoke of the heavy burden she carried, suggesting that after years of living with a colossal lie, it had become part of her very identity. The judge weighed Amanda's crimes against her brother's heartfelt words, while the courtroom held its breath as the sentence was announced. 5 years behind bars. Understandably, her deception was not taken lightly, and the justice system sought to hold her accountable for the pain she had caused. She was ordered to pay restitution, facing the consequences of her actions in both prison time and financial reparation. The sentencing in May 2022 marked the end of a long and harrowing chapter in the life of Amanda Christine Riley, leaving her family and followers grappling with the dual reality of the person they once knew and the person she had become. From Amanda's fabricated battle with cancer to the devastating impact on her unsuspecting followers, this episode of Vice Confidential revealed how deep the rabbit hole went. Don't miss out on future videos, where we continue to explore compelling stories of individuals who test the limits of what they can get away with. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more gripping true crime content that will leave you questioning the boundaries of trust and the complexities of the human psyche. See you on the other side.